Anyway, it's great to be with everyone today, and what I really am excited to talk with you about are several different things. So number one, talking with you about HPC, which is the reason why all of us are here. Also, we'll talk just a tiny bit about cloud and another new concept called big workflow, and in addition to that, how the new version of Moab, the Moab scheduler, is coming out here in the next few weeks, is going to help support these concepts and what it is that all of you are doing. So my name is Trev Harmon. I work for Adaptive Computing, obviously. I've been with them for about 7.5 years, and I am what's called the Principal Solution Strategist, which means I work with everyone to try and make sure that the solutions that you're getting is exactly what you need. So to begin with this, marketing loves me to show these slides. So I'm going to show it, and just really quick. Okay, who here does not know who adaptive computing is? Okay, great. That means I don't have to really explain all this very much. So, basically, we are the ones that produce the Moab scheduler. We've been here supporting the industry for many years. And we also work across all the different HPC verticals. Here's just a couple of our customers in some of those verticals that all of you would be familiar with. And with that, I want to get into what I really want to be talking with you about today, because I have a lot to cover over the next 15 minutes, so I'm just going to kind of go. First of all, one of the things that we have really been seeing inside of adaptive computing and in the industry over the last little while is this whole idea of HPC expanding. Okay, for a long time, HPC, we've kind of been our own little community. We're off by ourselves doing really cool stuff. And a whole bunch of the commercial and industries are now starting to take notice and realizing that they have HPC needs. And so HPC is expanding its scope as far as who it is that HPC is touching. With that, one of the other things that we're obviously all seeing and all excited about is the continual growth of systems. Okay, we're on this onward march towards exascale. And I remember when we first got the very first petaflop system, I was reading one of the industry rags, and there was this great little article in there that said, if we were to use today's technology to do an exascale system, what would it take? In addition to it saying it would require the power of a medium-sized city to run, it also had this other great little line that said it would have a mean time between failure of 18 seconds. We've come a long way since then, so we're moving forward. And the systems are getting bigger, they're getting more complex, and our needs are growing with that. So what we really need to have is to have this greater alignment, not only with our industry, between our hardware vendors, our software vendors, but even with inside of the organizations of what is it that we're trying to accomplish, what is it that our goals are, what is it that why is it that we have our HPC centers? Some of us love having HPC centers just because they're a lot of fun. We spend a whole bunch of time just doing really cool stuff with them, but they need to be meeting organizational goals as well. And we really, in adaptive computing's point of view, we put those together into three main areas. So the first one is unify, second one is optimize, and the third one is guarantee. This is what we're trying to do as a software vendor to help you, and we believe that this is what you're trying to do in order to meet the needs of your organizations. So first of all, here under the unify, what we have is we have all sorts of different types of resources. We just had a great presentation coming into this, if you were here for that. We walk around here on the floor. There's all sorts of different types of hardware tools are now available for us to be able to do HPC. In addition to that, we are going through and we're trying to optimize the process. How is it that we get from the questions that we have to the answers and the insights that we need? And we want to get that smooth through, and that includes having better throughput in our systems and also having an understanding SLAs inside the organizations to make sure that the most important work gets done first. And then third is the guarantee part. We need to guarantee the services that we are providing out to our organizations. When that comes around, good, strong policy control and being able to verify that not only are we going towards these goals, but that we actually are meeting the goals that we have. All this comes together to what we have here at the top. what we're trying to do, accelerate insight, accelerate getting the answers that we need. Now with that, what I'd like to talk to you about is what's new in Moab 8.0 and this concept here called big workflow. Now if you were at Supercomputing this last year, I had a talk where I was able to talk about this concept where we have different types of computing that we want to do. Really simple example is we go in and we have our compute jobs to run our models, and then after our models are done, the next step that we have is that we want to do visualization. Very, very simple workflow. Now where we see that this is going is that it's going to expand beyond that as the tools that we have grow as well. So one of the things we're seeing that happen with is cloud. As you have more cloud resources, those can be used for HPC, or end users may want to have a virtual workstation stood up in the cloud that then hooks back into the HPC center to do their own modeling or to take care of licensing costs. And we're going to see more and more of these different types of compute strung together in processes and workflows in order for us to accomplish what we want. So in support of that, a couple things that we have new coming up in version 8 is we have enhanced OpenStack support for the software. We are going forward with that, and we believe that OpenStack does provide us an opportunity to bring cloud into HPC and HPC into the cloud. With this as well, we have a great quote here in Intersect 360. They did a very recent user survey, and as far as the response to that survey, Moab and Torque are the top 2 management systems that were mentioned in that, which we very much want to thank the community for that. Also here in version 8, we have a couple of things around the optimization. So number 1, great performance boosting. I'll be talking about that here in a minute. A new additional data staging model that provides greater flexibility for the administrators, and also a new power management system for giving, again, greater control to the administrators to make sure that the system is running the way that they need. In addition to that, we are also excited to announce that we are going to have a new administrative portal that will be released at that time and continue to have enhancements throughout the rest of the year. And again, you'll actually get to see some sneak previews of some of the designs in that here today. So moving into that, first one, Ascent project. We all know that the systems are growing larger, getting bigger, and as a software vendor, we need to keep up with what all of you are doing. So one of the big things that we've been working on for this release is increasing the performance of not only Moab but also Torque, making sure that we'll be able to run larger jobs, have more jobs in the queue, have faster job submissions, have shorter scheduling iterations. More scheduling iterations that can be done in a given time, the less amount of system resources that get wasted while we're waiting around for those scheduling iterations to happen. In addition to that, there's been some great new things done with multi-threading inside of Moab. There are certain parts of Moab that are single-threaded for doing some very specific things, but everywhere else where we can multi-thread, we're getting that multi-threading in there to also allow for greater performance of the system. So as you need better performance out of Moab, you can actually grow your hardware in order to grow that performance. In addition to that, we have another new product that we're announcing here at the show that we're very excited about, which is called Nitro. And Nitro is used for those cases where you have a whole bunch of very small, short jobs that you want to run very, very quickly. And effectively what Nitro does is Nitro will allow you to schedule a pool and say, this pool is for running these short, fast jobs. And so you go through all the scheduling stuff and you get the optimal place for that pool. And then at that point, Nitro takes over and runs all of those jobs as fast as it possibly can through those systems. So a couple things on here, talking about the performance increases. This particular chart deals with iteration times. And I know it's a little bit of an eye chart for those of you in the back. Apologize for that. But basically we have 3 different sets of tests that were run. And Inside of those tests, we have 3 different software packages. So Moab 7.2.6, Moab 7.5, which are 2 currently available software packages, and then the new version that's coming out. And with that, we have iteration 1, 2, and 3. So iteration 1 is blue, 2 is red, and 3 is yellow. And you want to have these bar graphs to be as small as they possibly can, because that means it's doing the scheduling iterations faster. And what you'll notice is in every single case there is a huge difference between the currently running versions of Moab that are out there available for you to download and the new one that's coming out. So we're very excited about that. Jumping back to Nitro as well, some things in here. We're seeing that you can get up to 100 times faster throughput for these short jobs. And a lot of that's dealing with the fact that we make one big scheduling decision to begin with. Then each of the individual jobs are not being evaluated for scheduling. They're just being pushed through up to 10 jobs per second per node. So if you have interest in this, we would love to have you come over to the booth and we can talk with you about it some more. And again, like I said, very, very excited about for those cases where you have these short jobs that you don't really need to have full-blown scheduling done. You just need to get them going through as fast as you possibly can. So, a few details on how this works. It's done with the message queue. It combines all these small jobs, like we said, together into these batches. And these batches are actually fed in via a file. And there's absolutely nothing to keep you from making that file a pipe, so you can even effectively set up a pool that's continuously fed these small, fast jobs with it. Okay, like I said, trying to stay within the limit because I'm now down to 4 minutes. So just moving on really quick. Topology-aware node allocation scheduling with the Cray system on the Cray Gemini 3 Taurus. We have a great demo over in our booth right now of some enhancements of some topology-aware scheduling that does what's called cuboid scheduling. That has a great enhancement on the overall throughput of the system by keeping jobs together within the fewest network jumps. A couple other things that were mentioned earlier: data staging. There is a new data staging approach inside of Moab. You can still use the old one if you're already using it, but the new one allows a great deal more flexibility for the administrator, so you can determine what types of tools you're going to be using for that data staging. And it also is done with a workflow mechanism, which means you can actually tie these different data stagings together with other parts of your job workflow to say, okay, we're going to bring the job in, stage the data in, run the compute, stage it to the next place, run that part, stage it to the next place, so on and so forth. One of the big reasons that we're doing this is that we are moving towards trying to have not just jobs run as fast as possible, but having good consistent run times as well to help people understand how their system is being used. All right. Next one, power management and green computing. So here, again, apologize, another little eye chart, but this chart basically is showing 2 different jobs. And the blue lines is the consumed energy, and the red lines are the elapsed time as you change the CPU clock speed. Now, many of us, when we go through economics, get very used to the idea that what we always look for is the optimal point, is where the lines cross, which in this case is actually not the case. The optimal place to have your clock cycle is where that green line is, to the left of each one of those crosses, meaning you're going to get the most compute power for the least amount of energy used for that. Now, this varies from job to job, and consequently, just going and setting the cluster at one particular clock speed may not be the best thing. So what we've done is we've enabled it so that end users can specify what clock speed they would like their job to run at, either by using the actual megahertz rating. It could be the P states or the relative power levels that Linux provides. They go in, they specify that, then their job, when it gets out and is run on one of the nodes, has the clock speed for that particular node set to what is optimal for that particular job. In addition to that, and that's done through torque and gets recorded both in torque and in Moab. In addition to that, there is a new facility to allow you to specify the different levels of power sleep or power off that you want when you want to actually shut machines down. So instead of shutting machines all the way down, which may take a long time for machines to come back up when they're not being used, you can now go in and say, okay, if I don't need the machines, instead of powering them off or keeping them on, let's suspend them, let's hibernate them. Let's decide how we want that to be done per type of machine inside of the system. So, again, like I said, running through this really quick because now I have just about 30 seconds to show you screenshots of the new UI. So, with this, we have this new UI. It's administrative to begin with. It will be going to an end user portal as well through this year and the beginning of next year. It allows for policies and other things to be set. It's being based off of a new persistent database that's in the back end that administrators will be able to also access and create their own reports off of if they want to access that directly. And this is the new look and feel. So here we have a view of the different types of workload in the system, some overall system utilization of that. Under policies, understanding how the different types of credentials inside of Moabs, the groups, the accounts, the qualities of service, the classes all relate to each other. Be able to visually see that based on which users that you're looking at and what they have access to. Other methods for very easily being able to set policies such as the priority of jobs and how that calculation happens through a very intuitive approach, as well as multi-level viewing of the actual cluster itself and its performance. So here we have one level of view where we're hovering and seeing certain metrics, zooming in, seeing additional metrics, and even getting down into more details as far as individual jobs and reservations on those machines. So with that, I appreciate everyone's time and apologize for just running through this really quick. I'd love to answer any questions that you have either right after this or over at our booth later. So thank you very much.